Imagine you have a friend who turned his house into an Airbnb. At first, it was just one spare room, some extra cash, nothing serious. Then the easy money became addictive. He rented another room, then another, until he was sleeping on the couch just to rent out his own bedroom. The house is always full of strangers. Every day he cleans, changes sheets, makes breakfast, 7 days a week. One day you visit and notice the house is falling apart. Pipes are leaking, the roof has holes, the foundation is cracking. You ask why he does not fix it. He smiles, exhausted, and says he has no time. He has guests to take care of. You warn him the house will collapse. He nods, he knows. But if he stops hosting, he has no money to eat. So he keeps going, hoping the house survives one more year. Welcome to the economic reality of Spain today.
Mateo is 33 years old, born and raised in Barcelona. During the day, he cleans rooms in a small hotel. At night, he delivers food just to cover rent. He is not lazy, not ignorant, and not chasing unrealistic dreams. He only wants a normal life, a decent place to live, a stable job, a future he can plan. But every month the rent goes up, his work contract lasts only a few months, and owning a home feels like a cruel joke. Mateo serves tourists every day, smiling politely, telling them Barcelona is beautiful. And it is. But when night comes, he returns to a cramped room and asks himself why working his entire life in this city still does not earn him a place in his own home.
Pause for a moment. We are not here to listen to familiar stories of hardship anymore. We are not blaming Mateo, not blaming tourists, and not blaming bad luck. We are opening the ledger, looking straight at the cold numbers behind the smiles and sunny beaches. This is not a history lesson meant to romanticize the past. This is a crime scene investigation. One question matters. Where did the money go? And who is really benefiting?
Spain is not poor because it lacks money. It is poor because it bet its entire economy on a single card: tourism. Tourism represents around 13% of GDP, higher than any other developed country. That sounds like success until you remember one thing. Tourism is the most fragile industry there is. Borders close, fear spreads, or a global shock hits, and the money disappears in weeks. The year 2020 was the brutal stress test. Tourists vanished, hotels shut down, bars went silent, and the economy went into freefall. GDP collapsed, millions lost their jobs in a single season. Think of a household living on one source of income. When that source dries up, there is no backup plan. And the problem goes deeper. Tourism creates jobs, but mostly low-wage, low-value jobs that do not build long-term wealth. Mateo cleans rooms every day, but his pay never allows him to save or move forward. Money flows through the city, but it does not stay. Meanwhile, higher-value industries slowly die because tourism is easy, fast, and addictive. Spain chose the easiest path, and now it is trapped by that choice.
Beneath the surface of all that activity lies an uncomfortable truth. Tourism generates cash, but very little value stays behind. A tourist pays 100 euros for a hotel night. How much does a cleaner like Mateo receive? Only a small fraction. The hotel owner does not get rich either because competition is fierce and margins are thin. And how much does the government collect in taxes? Not much, because a large part of the activity lives in the gray zone. No receipts, no declarations. Money flows through the city like water through sand. It makes everything wet for a moment, then disappears. The economy looks busy, but it does not accumulate real strength. Meanwhile, industries that could create long-term value, manufacturing, technology, skilled work, slowly fade away because they cannot compete with fast and easy tourism money. Mateo works more every year, but his bank account never grows. That is the clearest sign of an economy leaking from the inside.
Industry did not disappear because Spaniards failed. It disappeared because easy money stayed too long. Building a hotel is faster than building a factory. Hiring a waiter is cheaper than training an engineer. Profits come quickly. Risks feel smaller, so investment keeps flowing into tourism. Factories close quietly, machines gather dust, skills fade year after year. Matteo can find a job after a short interview, but it is a job with no ladder upward, no research, no technology, no long value chain. An economy living on easy money is like a body living on sugar. At first, it feels fast and strong. Inside, the muscles weaken. And when tourism slows, Spain realizes it traded its future for convenience, and the bill arrives slowly but inevitably. The real cost of an easy money economy does not appear overnight. It shows up as a generation stuck in limbo. In Spain, many young people are not fully unemployed, but they are never truly secure. They live on short-term contracts, 3 months, 6 months, renewed again and again. They work hard, they're exhausted, but never stable enough to build anything. You cannot get a mortgage when your contract expires in weeks. You cannot plan a family when your job might disappear next month. Matteo and millions like him are not lazy. They are trapped in permanent waiting mode. They live with their parents not for comfort, but because there is no alternative. A society where young people cannot plan a future is a society slowly eating itself from the inside. The economy may still function, but trust is quietly draining away.
An unstable generation eventually hits another wall: housing. In Spain, homes are no longer places to live, they are assets to store money. Rents rise faster than wages, faster than hope itself. City centers turn into short-term vacation zones, while residents are pushed toward the edges. Matteo serves tourists on the same streets where he grew up, but he can no longer afford to live there. Apartments light up every night, not with families, but with check-in schedules. The city stays crowded, but its residents slowly disappear. Young people cannot buy homes. The wealthy buy to rent, and the gap between those two worlds keeps widening. When a city is sold room by room, it does not vanish overnight. It empties from the inside. And one day, the place you called home becomes just a backdrop for someone else's holiday. When housing disappears, anger rises. On the streets of Barcelona, Madrid, Valencia, you see banners, chants, water thrown at tourists. From the outside, it looks like hatred, but underneath it is desperation. People do not hate foreigners. They hate being pushed out of the cities where they were born. Matteo watches these scenes with a painful contradiction inside him. He needs tourists to survive, yet tourists are also the reason his rent is no longer affordable. This is the cruel paradox. You are forced to serve the system while the same system slowly crushes you. When a society makes people choose between survival and belonging, anger is no longer a choice. It becomes a natural reflex.
All these pieces connect into a very clear backbone. Spain is not collapsing because its people are lazy, not because its culture is weak, and not because it lacks money. It is collapsing because of a model that feels comfortable on the surface, but drains the system from within. Tourism feeds the present, but consumes the future. Young people work, but cannot accumulate. Cities stay brightly lit while residents disappear. Money flows quickly, but never stays. Matteo is not an isolated victim. He represents millions of people trapped between two bad choices. Serve a system that lets you survive today, but quietly takes away tomorrow. When an economy prioritizes cash flow over value, convenience over depth, it looks stable until trust is exhausted. And once trust is gone, no beautiful beach or tourist smile can save it. This is not just Spain's story. It is a warning for any country willing to sell its future for short-term comfort.
If this story made you uncomfortable, then it did its job, because the problem is not Spain. It is a model many countries are quietly copying, living on easy money, postponing hard decisions, and hoping things will somehow fix themselves. Share this video with someone who needs to look beyond the beautiful surface. Leave a comment. What do you think happens when an economy survives season by season with no future plan? And if you want to understand collapses that are forming right now, the next video will be even harder to watch.